Hi Thinkernetters, I'm Tom Knoll, President of CIMI Corporation. Like a lot of people in this country, I've had more than my exposure to gun violence, maybe a lot more exposure to violence than I've needed. And I think everybody pretty much would agree that whatever exposure they've had, it's probably been too much. I am a little bit concerned, though, about the notion that video games and violent literature on the internet and all of these other kind of things are somehow contributing to making us a more violent people. It's not that I don't think that we need to be careful about how we influence children, but I have to go back to my own past, to my childhood, and to remember, for example, that some of my favorite toys were very realistic military looking rifles, and I spent an awful lot of time looking at my friends and neighbors over the sights of these things. And I grew up in a part of the country where real guns were not hard to come by, and yet somehow neither myself nor my friends managed to shoot anybody. I don't know that we can be so facile as to blame increases in violence on exposure to violence in video games. There's a lot of violence everywhere. Yes, it's on TV. Yes, it's on video games. But there's also violence in the real world, and you can't hide from it. I think probably what we need to focus more on is to provide some guidance in how to deal with the kinds of emotions that turn vicarious violence, the violence that you watch, and the interest in violence as an exciting factor in entertainment, into violence in the real world. There's a big step between enjoying reading a thriller and acting out the plot and taking the role of one of the heroes or one of the villains with real weaponry. And I think a little more focus on that and a little less focus on simple denial of stimulus might be, based on my historical precedent, a more realistic approach. Thank you. I'm Tom Knoll.